Well, she is my arch nemesis. I would be lying if I didn't say that. There wasn't some part of me that was like, she's kind of older, but...
You know.
Not now or ever.
She hates me so much.
Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Genealogy. Hello there, my YouTube minions. It is I, your unfriendly neighborhood Skeletor. And today, Skeletor, I'm going to do another top 10 list. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but this is not any ordinary top 10 list. No, I'm doing Skeletor's top 10 80s cosplay costume list. Now, a number of you out there have been quite cross with me, Skeletor, saying, Skeletor, you're paying far too much attention to artificial art and not enough attention to real artists out there.
Hey, I've always had an interest in art, dating back to my schoolgirl days.
To that I say, you're right. I mean, artificial art is doing well for my channel, and I can't deny that. I think every once in a while I, Skeletor, should do my due diligence and bring to light some real artists out there doing real good work.
Why won't you be art?
And for me, there are few better artists who delve into the 80s as those much maligned cosplayers.
Oh, yeah. Art.
That's right. People who actually do a lot of cosplay costumes, put a lot of work and effort into their costumes. It is an art form that I, Skeletor, believe does not get enough credit.
And the nerds have emerged from their basements, wearing strange costumes to shield their pasty skin from the moonlight.
Now, for the 3 criteria with which I will be judging this 1980s best cosplay list is number 1, how close to that character the artist came.
Look like the things they look like.
Number 2, how much effort was put into this costume. I want to know that this was not some lazy job. I want to know that they took time and effort, and you can see the passion that was put into each costume by the work that you knew went into it.
The key to my art is anger.
And number 3, the details. You know, some details that maybe were imaginative but still fit the character, or just, you know, little minor details that they got right in the costume that maybe most people wouldn't have even noticed.
Oh, I've wasted my life.
Right, and there's a bunch of other little things that might play a factor in it if they're ties or whatever, not to mention my own personal bias. I mean, I am an evil villain, and I, Skeletor, may have a preference here and there, but I'm going to try my best to not. But I make no promises. Anyway, enough of this blathering. Let's do this thing, shall we? Alright, now before I start this, I'd like to add one thing. While making this video, I, Skeletor, tried very hard to find and name each creator on my list. At least to find the person who's wearing the costume.
Oh, you must be some kind of crazy person.
And for the most part, I was successful. At least to get the people in the costume. Sometimes I can't tell whether or not the person who was wearing the costume was the person who made it. But just as a side note, so you all know that I did try my best to figure it out. And if I'm wrong on some of these, I want you all to let me know in the comments and say, hey, Skeletor, you're wrong. That's me, and I'm the person who made that. You know?
Oh, yes.
Because I do want the people who made these to get their proper credit.
That's right. I did the Iggy.
Anyway, I just wanted to get that out there before I start. Let's get to this thing, shall we? Now, my number 10 on the list. I will be honest with you and say that this is probably a bias of mine, but I'm getting it out of the way right away. And for some of you who know my channel well, this should come as no surprise. As my first character and number 10 on the list is Cara Nicole as Cheetara.
In my heart, I know I'm the strongest of my kind.
Frankly, I'd be a little turned on.
A lot of you are like, yeah, we knew this was coming. I assure you, this was my only biased one. Maybe there were better ones than this costume, but I don't care. If there's a top 10 cartoon list, Cheetara will be on it every single time.
A foregone conclusion.
Not to say that her costume is bad. Her costume is actually quite good. I mean, look at her. I mean, there was a lot of Cheetaras out there. This one, to me, was my favorite one. The costume is really well done. You could tell she dyed her hair the exact same color.
The strange thing to my hair.
You can see there's some detail in there, some spots. She painted her shoulders there. She got the right bow staff. Makeup looks good.
So they can see what it was like.
What I really like is the commitment to the character. That's right. She's even acting. Look at her. She's like staring off into the distance in the middle of the woods, being chased by Mamra's men, trying to figure out where Lion-O is. You know, the commitment to the character by just her acting, you know?
The acting and the groupies and the Luke, save me with the lightsaber and the wing.
So I give her credit for not just standing around in front of a brick wall going, I am the character. She's putting some effort into it, right?
No.
The costume isn't perfect. As you see, Cheetor's got an orange arm here. She just painted all her shoulders equally.
There isn't.
You know, but everything else was pretty good. This is her doing her stripper pole impression. I don't know why.
And you know what that usually means.
Don't do this, Lion-O. Put down the sword.
All these cosplayers always have to do one cool picture and then one sexy picture. Not that I'm complaining, mind you. It's just an observation.
You may mesmerize men with your evil beauty.
This is her. My pole isn't just for fighting, look. My pole could be for dancing as well.
So just bouncing off that thing.
Again, just an observation. Not complaining.
For a moment, you had me worried there.
Cara Nicole was my favorite Cheetara, and like I said, there was a few others that did make this choice a hard one, but in the end, I went with her as my number 10.
You truly earned my insignia this day.
Alright, now for my number 9. Now this number 9 one is going to be my first Masters of the Universe character, the Sorceress.
It is time. The very fate of the universe may depend on your success.
Now, I have to say, well, she is my arch nemesis. I would be lying if I didn't say that. There wasn't some part of me that was like, she's kind of older, but...
You know.
Destroy it?
She's not bad for an older lady. You know?
Not now or ever.
She hates me so much.
Now, this sorceress was my favorite sorceress. And again, there are a lot of sorceresses out there. This one by Annie Graves was my favorite one for a lot of reasons. Number one, the attention to detail on this costume I really liked. The feathering of the outfit here wasn't just a plain white outfit. The boots, these boots had to have been hard to either find or make. I don't think you'd find these boots anywhere, probably custom made.
But how?
Her herself, she looks like if she was cast in the film to play the sorceress. I'd be like, sure, why not? Looks-wise, she looks the part.
You're pretty hot. You should, be on a video or something.
No.
And she's also acting, you can see. She's trying to put on the regal, powerful look of the sorceress. She's not just standing there like a schlub, in the costume. She's trying to own the character.
It has been the highest honor.
So I do appreciate that. The things that I thought could be improved. The wings themselves, it's just sort of a material here. There's not very much feathering, which I thought there could have been a little more feathering.
Keep on trying.
I think the headpiece here could have been a little better. Yeah, not horrible. I liked it, that's why it's on the list. But I would have liked this to have been one piece.
So?
You can see she puts on the headpiece here, and then she's got kind of like a crown piece over her head, which kind of makes the eyes bulge out of the head a little, as opposed to you can see on the sorceress, it's all one piece.
And that was their greatest mistake.
But again, that's a little nitpicky. All in all, the entire complete package, I think, with her persona, her looks, makes her the best sorceress on my list, but also makes this my number 9.
And that is how I came to be the sorceress. Goodbye.
Alright, now for my number 8, and my first male on the list. And this one is also my first evil villain, and that is the Cobra Viper from G.I. Joe.
Vipers!
Now, there were a lot of really, really good G.I. Joe characters. There were some good Cobra Commanders, there were some Snake Eyes, but I loved the complete package of this character. It was the finer details that I really liked, like the mask, for example. It's not too far removed from Cobra Commander.
What?
But it had that, the right goggles that put on the top. Things like that, the wear and tear on the edges, to make it seem like he went through battle. This took a lot of detail work, right? And a lot of talent and effort. Negative 11, which I believe is the company, you can actually purchase helmets from him. I think he's got website, type up Negative 11 on Google or whatever. And he's got, not just one, but several different helmets that he makes.
Say no more, or I will suspect you too.
But this whole costume, the gloves, look how accurate they are, the belt here, everything. This looks like how I would imagine the Cobra Viper to look in real life.
Morons on my payroll!
it's things like this that make me wonder why, if somebody in a workshop could make this, why is it that Hollywood, with all their billions of dollars, always come up with something so horrible all the time?
Destro. You will call me Commander. That is disgusting!
My only qualm with this image, though, is that orange tip on the gun here. You know, you had to put that orange tip because, you know, heaven forbid you paint it black and get arrested for someone actually thinking you had a real gun.
This is degrading. Men will suffer for this!
So, by necessity, he had to keep this orange. So, that's not necessarily his fault. But anyway, I really like this costume. Would have liked to have seen him have the backpack here, but, you know, it's just a backpack. But all in all, really good job, -11, and definitely worthy of number 8 on my list.
Highly trained special mission force.
Intruder alert! Code red!
Next on my list, at number 7, and another member of the Thundercats, Panro here, from Night Mage.
The Great Panthro.
Let's see what you've got.
Now this is another one where I have to say, this guy put a lot of effort into this costume. And not only did he put a lot of effort, you can really tell that he enjoys the character and has a love for the character. I mean, think about it. Look how much effort it would take to paint your skin this shade of gray.
I prefer it.
And he puts the detail, also the muscles on the legs. I mean, I don't know if he had help doing it or not. Nevertheless, the effort is definitely there. Those ears look dead on. I mean, I was really impressed by not just the makeup work. The makeup work was top notch, but those ears too, they look pretty real. He's got the little details, like the knee pads here, the belt, the spiky suspenders, although he put black underneath. I think he put black to highlight them, possibly because they blended in too much.
You may turn out to be a genius.
The cuffs, everything was so good. Even the white face around there and the white paint around the eyes. I think he's even wearing contact lenses.
Whatever that is.
I really do appreciate the work and the effort that went into this costume. And there's another picture of him with his nunchucks.
One more and we've got it.
Now, I am extremely impressed again with the level of detail with the nails there. As you can see, he added the cat's claws. But I will say my number one pet peeve of this image are these nunchucks.
You're no work of art yourself.
I mean, you put so much effort into this costume, and then, I don't know, what did you... It looks like he took his pepper and salt shakers, or took a couple of pulls from his stairwell banister.
Relax.
Which, if he did do that, takes a lot of commitment. I mean, someone's falling down the stairs tomorrow.
Trouble with a capital T.
His wife is like trying to come down the stairs, and then she falls down the stairs.
That's impossible.
What the hell happened to the banister? Oh, sorry, honey. I needed to use the poles for my nunchucks in my costume.
I'm working on it.
And the wife was like, you know what? I want a divorce. That in of itself just shows how much commitment he has to this character. That he's willing to sacrifice his marriage.
Better knock it out.
But I mean, to me, that's my biggest pet peeve. These nunchucks just don't look right.
Okay.
I don't know, that's just a pet peeve of mine, but the rest of the costume looks so badass. I mean, he even looks the part. Look at his face. He looks like Panthro. His wife is like, you're lucky you're like Panthro in bed.
Don't look at me. Technology's my specialty.
Now wear that costume to bed tomorrow, or I will get a divorce.
Mega dingus or no mega dingus?
No, right away, honey.
I'll need time.
Anyway, good job to Night Mage there. Definitely worthy of number 7 on my list.
Best we can do is this.
Now for my number 6, and my second villain, Melodia from Silverhawk, by Shirahime or Shirahime. I'm not sure which one it is.
Melodia?
So it's time for my distress call!
Now this one was a late insertion into the list, as I had another one at top 6. She's not the most popular of evil villains.
What?
But I mean, you can't ignore the attention to detail that she put in this character. I mean, I was really impressed. She put a lot of care and attention to a character that most people probably might not even know, which to me in and of itself takes commitment.
My pleasure!
The actress in the costume, I'm not sure if she made it herself, looks like she's probably even too young to know the character. So that in of itself is impressive.
He's right out of it!
But the attention to detail is just off the charts for me. You know, the shoulder pads, the pink and red boots and leotard. You know, all this is great. These glasses had to have been custom made, right? There's no way in hell that you're gonna, like, type up on the Google search engine and find these glasses online.
Blew up in his face!
They're definitely unique to the character, and she had to make them. But what I really liked about this was the Keytar gun.
There is nothing I like better
the attention to detail on this keytar gun was, for me, why I put this character at number 6. I mean, this is her thing, right? Melodia, has a keytar that shoots lasers, right?
Melodia's siren song!
So this was an extremely important part of the character, and she nailed it. Here's another image where she's laughing again, acting, because Melodia is always laughing with that weird, horrible, cackly laugh that she has. And then you get a closer look at her keytar gun. Look at the color scheme. Blue, yellow, red, green. The knobs. This looks actually really well made. It doesn't look like she made this out of cardboard. This took a lot of time. I'm wondering if it actually plays music.
I'll play him a tune he'll never forget.
Again, the attention to detail in this costume was, for me, top-notch and definitely worthy to be number 6 on my best cosplay list. Alright, number 5 on my list. And this is my first combo team effort cosplay on my list. And that is the Centurion.
Man and machine, power extreme. The Centurion.
Now, I really like the Centurions. It's one of my favorite cartoons from the 80s. I always love the idea of transporting weapons to you when you need it.
Beaming.
Power extreme!
And this is one where I have to admit that I look everywhere to try to give these guys credit. I assume they're guys, I don't know for sure, but I assume they are.
Whatever you've heard is all true.
So unfortunately, this one's going to go unnamed. And like I said, if there are any of you out there who went to this Comic-Con here, knows these guys, or you're these guys yourself, please let me know in the comments that this is you or you know who they were, because these were extremely awesome. And definitely I could not have them on the list.
Where's anyone?
But anyway, they are definitely my number 5 for a very good reason. I mean, just look at how awesome this is. Look at the amount of detail work that went into this costume here. The mask alone, Ace McCloud, Rocket Pack, like so much work went into this. This is like, you have to fabricate all these pieces individually. This took a lot of work and a lot of love. As you can tell, you would only put this effort if you cared this much for the character.
Never looked so good.
However, I will say one thing. Could we please stop taking pictures just random, willy-nilly?
I'm going to ignore that remark.
What is he, like standing beside the washrooms here?
What a spot for a vacation.
You spend so much time, so much effort making these costumes, It's just disconcerting to know that right behind these characters, somebody's in there taking a leak.
This is where it hits the fan.
I mean, there's probably a lot of places you could have taken this picture. I don't know why you decided to take it in front of the restrooms.
Well, I'll bet my grandma's rocking chair Doc Terry'd love to play with that gadget.
I'll have to open the window a bit wider.
It's kind of distracting,
Mr. Nasty isn't kidding, is he?
Not to mention these ugly, horrible carpets. I mean, what is with this carpet? This carpet looks like it's from 1962.
Yes, these are the carpets we buy by the mile.
It's another horrible thing that I find with these Comic-Con banquet halls. They always have the worst carpeting.
So you can save on every yard.
The background notwithstanding, still can't take away from how detailed these costumes are, and also how close they are to the real thing.
It really looks swell.
Which is why these Centurions here are number 5 on my list.
Hold it! Our taxi's here.
Alright, number 4. And yet another villain from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's Rocksteady.
Make way for Bebop and Rocksteady.
Now this was another one where I'm not sure that I got the name right. The only thing I could find was DT Jam here. And I'm not sure if this is the guy who took the picture or the website that I got this from, or if he was the guy in the costume. I don't know. This was the only name that I could find associated with this. Again, if I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me in the comments.
That's right.
But I will say this cosplayer here created one hell of a costume. The attention to detail in this costume was extremely top-notch. I mean, we're talking practically Hollywood quality here.
Oh boy.
I mean, look at this. This is like Hollywood movie level stuff, in my opinion. Now, I'm not sure how functional all of this is. Is his mouth able to move? How stiff are his arms? I can't tell.
These babies may look like me.
However, appearance-wise, this is definitely deserving to be number 4 on my list.
Gee, thanks.
I mean, the bebop here isn't horrible, right? I mean, it's an okay attempt. In fact, the face is really good. If it wasn't for, the fact that he looks like they just took their shaggy 1970s rug to make their outfit, it wouldn't be so bad.
Hey, what do you mean?
My first bit of advice about buying carpet, shags do require some extra care, and they should be raked about once a week to keep their fluffy look.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks all right. It's a pretty good costume. It's just, maybe if he wasn't standing beside this, I'd be more impressed.
Oh, it's no use.
But, the detail of the muscles on the arms, everything. Look at the hooves. I know that Rocksteady wears boots, but you could imagine that underneath the boots, if he was to go barefoot, this is how his foot would actually look.
Looks just like one of your old girlfriends, only prettier.
Amazing stuff. Again, you see, if you really look close, this gun has that orange tip, because, without that orange tip, everyone's going to think it's a real gun.
What the?
But, you can tell the guy in this costume is probably well built too. This has to be a really heavy and hot costume to be wearing. So I'll give him points for that as well.
Hey, I passed the test.
Anyway, whoever made this, if it was DT Jam or not, this Rocksteady, for me, is as good or better than Hollywood quality in my opinion. And this is why this Rocksteady here deserves to be number 4 on my list.
This'll make it better.
And now for the number 3 on my list. And my second Motu character, Roboto.
I am called Roboto.
Now, this one was a real shame, as once again Skeletor failed to find the maker of this costume.
I see.
And trust me, I looked really hard for it. Unfortunately for that Roboto, I don't know where he got that costume, so I couldn't give him proper credit, because I was extremely impressed by this costume. Anybody in the top 3, you could probably argue, deserved to be number 1. They were all really amazing.
I have never thought of myself as unique.
Just look at the attention to detail on this costume. The helmet is perfect. It even lights up. How awesome is that?
Astounding.
His handgun here. Look at the attention to detail here on the shoulders. Look at the gears on his chest plate here. It even looks see-through. This is, for me, even better than Hollywood.
The feeling is mutual.
I believe if Hollywood was to make Roboto, it would look like some horrible Michael Bay creation with all the gears and gizmos.
What the this piece of
I can make no sense of this.
This is so accurate to the character, and yet still so cool. I only have one qualm with this costume. The silver legs, he's not exactly accurate there.
I beg your pardon.
His boots, wow, extremely detailed and awesome. I wish they had painted it silver as well. But everything else, top notch.
Thank you.
You know what's hilarious? Look at the difference in effort here put between this Roboto here and this, I guess, She-Ra in the background.
Oh boy.
Hey, I'm not judging.
Forgive me if I appear rude.
I'm pretty sure she put effort into that costume as well. But if I walked into a costume competition and I saw this Roboto walk in, I would be like,
oh no.
Yes.
You know what? I think I'm changing. I'm not going to be standing around this guy here. He'll put me to shame.
I could be lost.
May I scan you?
Unless she really does think she's got a chance. I don't know. Maybe she does. Maybe she knows the guy who's judging the competition. So, I don't know. But anyway, this is easily number 3 on my list.
I think I'll get myself a nice cup of hot oil.
Which, of course, brings me to the number 2. And again, another Motu character, this time a villain, and that is Merman.
Yes, it is I, Merman. You don't seem happy to see me.
By Johnny Havoc.
Excellent.
I had this at my number 1 for a long time on my list, believe it or not, until I found my number 1 last minute.
Let me go first.
The attention to detail on this costume blew me away. He looks so much like Merman that I personally wanted to rage on him. When I looked at him, all I could say is, "You bungling fool! You let He-Man get away again!" He was so close to what Merman really looks like, instinctively that's what came out of my mouth. "You bungling lizard! I'm gonna make frog stew out of you!"
No, please!
Look at how good this costume is. The detail work on the shoulders. The sword looks even better than the sword in the toy. Look at the feet. I know this, obviously, this part here kind of breaks the illusion, but aside from this little part here on the foot, if you were to see this guy walking down the street, you would definitely believe this was a creature from the Black Lagoon.
Next to myself, that is.
I mean, this is definitely Hollywood, if not better than Hollywood.
Well done!
Also, with this picture, if you look really, really close in the background here, some guy in the next booth here pulling a mooner on you. Just like bending over with his butt crack showing.
That stupid tail is getting in the way.
All I can hear is the line from The Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man showing his butt crack behind the curtain.
Turn around! Turn around!
Afraid I'll make a mistake.
It was so close I could almost taste it.
Butt crack man aside, this costume definitely is phenomenal, to the point where I would probably replace him with the real Merman. That's right, Merman. This fake Merman here is proving to be far more capable than you. If this outfit could go in the water, you're out of a job. Anyway, that was my number 2.
Oh, look at them, laughing at me.
Now, before I get to my number 1, I'd like to first give a couple of honorable mentions to a lot of costumes that may not have made the list, but definitely deserve to get acknowledged for their hard work and creativity. So, here are some honorable mentions. It really is a shame that I tried to keep my bias out of it, because I really, really wanted Diana the Acrobat on this list.
We understand.
Hubba hubba.
Stop that.
Standing there stroking his white rabbit.
But anyway, as it stands, the number 1 1980s cosplay costume, according to me, Skeletor, goes to Soundwave from BMBDS.
Soundwave superior, Constructicons inferior.
Just look how amazing this costume is. It doesn't even look like a costume. It looks like Soundwave is actually there in front of his minivan, you know?
Affirmative.
You look at how detailed this costume is. It's incredible. And I've actually seen videos of it. So it's not just that it looks good, it's also functional. He can walk. He can move his arms. He can move his head. His tape could even come out. That's how good this is.
His mental power is great.
Now, I don't know if it could actually play music. If it could, that would be next level.
Success.
And look at how big it is. It's like towering right over this SUV here. Here's another picture. I think he's in his garage or his workshop. It's like standing like 8 feet tall. He has to bend down so he doesn't hit the ceiling. That's how big this costume is.
Increase efficiency.
And again, look at the difference. This is Hollywood's CGI version of Soundwave. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'll take BMBDS's version of Soundwave over Michael Bay's or Hollywood's Soundwave any day. I mean, look, what's so hard about making this? Why couldn't you just make this, you know?
Reason unknown.
Here's another picture of him getting into his garage. The size of this is astounding to me.
Yes.
I like how all his pictures are like in front of his garage, in front of his truck, you know? Makes me think that maybe this really is Soundwave. Or maybe Soundwave is retired, you know? Shacked up with his wife, living the suburban lifestyle, you know?
Get in the car, kids. We're going to the grocery store to pick up some groceries. Initiate brain scan.
You know, tinkering around the home. The only evil that he does now, after his retirement, is whenever he plays his music too loud, he gets the cops called on him. Mr. Soundwave, sir, we're getting some complaints about the music here. See, that you do.
Subject's mind completely empty.
That could be a good premise for an awesome series. You know, he has to transform his whole lifestyle. He's got to raise some kids with his human wife.
Sometimes the world looks perfect, nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls.
Anyway, it's obvious to see why, with all the detail, the effort, the amount of work that went into this, why this Soundwave here from BMBDS is Skeletor's #1 top 80s cosplay costume.
Objective accomplished.
Alright, there you have it. My top 10 list. And like I said, I could have easily put a whole bunch more on this list. It really was a tough decision, especially the top 3. But I do stand by my decision to put the Soundwave at #1.
How can I lose?
All talk, no shock.
However, let me know in the comments who you thought should be #1. It was a tough decision. Nevertheless, I had to make it. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you like this list. And if this video does well, maybe I'll do another list of top Motu characters or top Thundercats characters. You know, maybe I'll compartmentalize them a little more. But first, I have to know that you guys like this. And you do that by leaving a like or subscribing to Shaneology. Until next time. Ha 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 ha!